There is a doorway hidden inside you, not metaphorically, not symbolically, literally. A biological portal that ancient civilizations revered as the seat of vision beyond sight, memory beyond mind, and truth beyond the physical world. A portal you carry quietly within the center of your brain, yet almost no one is taught how to use it. Some call it the third eye. Some call it the seat of the soul. Modern science calls it the pineal gland. But the ancients called it something far more interesting. A portal between worlds. Think about that for a moment. Why would cultures that never met, Egyptians, Hindus, Taoists, Mayans, Greek philosophers, Gnostics, and Tibetan mystics, all describe a tiny gland in the center of the brain as a bridge to higher consciousness? How did they all arrive at the same conclusion? And why is this understanding almost entirely absent from modern teachings? Tonight we are going to explore what has been forgotten, or perhaps intentionally overlooked. This video will take you into the heart of one of the most fascinating mysteries of human existence, the true function of the pineal gland, and the ancient idea that it is a dormant portal waiting to be awakened. We will explore the hidden history behind this mystical organ, the strange symbolism connecting it to enlightenment across cultures, the deeper metaphysical role it was believed to play, and the reason its true potential faded into obscurity. But this isn't just a story about lost knowledge. This is a story about you, about an inner technology you were born with, an inner sense that modern life has lulled into sleep. The pineal gland isn't just a biological structure, it is a threshold. And once you understand what it truly represents, a new layer of your life begins to reveal itself. Intuition sharpens, dreams deepen, synchronicities increase, and the world around you becomes more interconnected, more alive, more meaningful. So take a breath, relax your mind, because we are about to step into a realm where ancient wisdom and inner experience meet, where the forgotten portal within you begins, at last, to reawaken. To understand why the pineal gland was revered by ancient civilizations, and why its true purpose has been forgotten, we must journey into the origins of human spiritual knowledge, tracing clues scattered across sacred texts, temples, and mystical traditions spanning thousands of years. Long before modern science tried to define the body through anatomy and chemistry, ancient cultures viewed the human being as a living bridge between the physical and the divine. They believed that within the skull, hidden, protected, and mysterious, rested a small but extraordinary organ that served as a gateway to higher states of consciousness, the pineal gland. In ancient Egypt, this knowledge took symbolic form. The Eye of Horus, one of the most iconic and enigmatic symbols in human history, when dissected geometrically, matches the structure of the pineal gland. This was not coincidence. Egyptian priests believed the eye represented the inner sight, the organ through which a person perceives the invisible realms. It was the center of intuition, prophecy, and spiritual awakening. Across the world in India, the Vedic sages described a similar concept, the Ajna chakra, or third eye. Not merely a poetic metaphor, it was believed to be a literal energetic center located within the brain, an inner portal used by yogis to explore astral realms, dive into deep meditation, and experience expanded states of consciousness. Ancient texts like the Upanishads speak of a hidden light within the mind capable of revealing the nature of the soul. In Taoist philosophy, the pineal gland was linked to the upper dantian, the spiritual chamber of the mind, where inner alchemy unfolds. Taoist adepts practiced breathwork and energy cultivation specifically to activate this golden palace and awaken the spirit within. Even in early Christianity, the pineal gland was not ignored. Mystical sects, such as the Gnostics and Desert Fathers, spoke of the lamp of the body, referencing Jesus' statement, "If thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be filled with light." These mystics believed this single eye was not symbolic. It pointed to a hidden spiritual organ, capable of perceiving divine illumination. But perhaps the most famous philosophical reference comes from René Descartes, the father of modern rationalism. He boldly claimed the pineal gland was the seat of the soul, the interface between spirit and matter. Though ridiculed by later scientists, Descartes was drawing from a long lineage of esoteric knowledge. Yet something changed. As scientific materialism rose, the mystical function of the pineal gland was dismissed as superstition. What was once considered a sacred portal became reduced to a biological footnote, a light-sensitive endocrine gland regulating sleep. Its spiritual significance was overshadowed by a worldview that could not measure or control consciousness. Many ancient teachings were labeled myth. Mystery schools dissolved or went underground. And so the pineal gland, the organ once believed to connect humans to the divine, became forgotten in the public consciousness. But the knowledge never truly disappeared. It survived in symbols, in sacred geometry, in yogic practices, in alchemical manuscripts, and in the lingering intuition that we are capable of perceiving far more than our five senses allow. And now, as humanity experiences a global awakening of consciousness, the question resurfaces. What if the pineal gland really is a forgotten portal? And what if its true function has been hiding in plain sight all along? To understand the true function of the pineal gland, we must first step away from the narrow biological definition that most modern explanations offer. Yes, it regulates circadian rhythm. Yes, it responds to light. And yes, it secretes melatonin. But these are merely shadows of its deeper role, surface-level expressions of a mechanism designed for something far more extraordinary. In ancient traditions, the pineal gland was not seen as a gland at all. It was a gateway, a lens through which consciousness could expand beyond the physical, a portal that allowed the human being to glimpse worlds normally hidden from the senses. Imagine this. You are standing inside a vast ancient temple. You see pillars, torches, and marble floors. But then, beneath a stone slab, you notice a small circular door, almost invisible, almost forgotten. That hidden door leads to an inner chamber, a sanctuary filled with treasures, scrolls, mysteries. Most people spend their entire lives in the outer hall of the temple, unaware that a deeper chamber even exists. Your pineal gland is that hidden door. 1. The inner light mechanism. Ancient mystics believed that the pineal gland was capable of producing not only hormones, but light, a kind of subtle inner radiance that illuminated the non-physical layers of perception. They spoke of this as the divine spark, the inner lamp, or the seat of vision. And here's the fascinating part. Modern science has discovered pinealocytes, cells in the pineal gland strikingly similar to the photoreceptors in the human retina. Why would a gland buried deep within the brain contain cells that resemble those used for seeing? Mystics would say, because the pineal gland was never meant only to regulate sleep, it was meant to perceive the invisible. 2. The bridge between worlds. Every ancient spiritual system describes a central point in the body where physical and non-physical dimensions meet. In Hindu texts, it is the Ajna chakra. In Taoist alchemy, it is the upper dantian. In Buddhist teachings, the eye of awareness. In Hermetic philosophy, the lamp of the mind. In Egyptian mystery schools, the eye of Horus. Though described differently, all point to the same idea, a physical structure that acts as an interface between consciousness and the subtle realms. That structure is the pineal gland. Ancient initiates believed that awakening the pineal gland allowed the seeker to perceive energy, intuition, visions, symbolic dreams, and the hidden architecture of reality. 3. The Stargate of Consciousness. Picture your mind as a vast night sky, stars representing thoughts, emotions, memories, and perceptions. The pineal gland is the North Star, the fixed point that guides your inner navigation. When activated, it aligns your perception with higher patterns, like tuning a radio to frequencies normally outside your range. This is why, throughout the scriptural and mystical world, the pineal gland is associated with visions of truth, heightened intuition, expanded consciousness, the moment of awakening cosmic memory, interior illumination. In other words, the pineal gland does not create mystical experiences. It receives them. It interprets them. It stabilizes them. 4. The dormancy paradox. If the pineal gland was truly such a powerful spiritual instrument, why do most people never experience its deeper function? The ancient answer is simple. It is dormant because our modern way of living suppresses its natural activation. Noise, distraction, artificial light, constant stimulation, emotional turbulence, social conditioning. These act like thick layers of dust covering a mirror. The mirror still exists, but it cannot reflect light. Mystics taught that the pineal gland becomes active only when the seeker begins removing these layers, through stillness, breath, concentration, inner silence, and alignment with truth. In the ancient world, such discipline was the foundation of every initiation. If Part 1 revealed the pineal gland as an inner portal, Part 2 leads us deeper into the hidden architecture behind this ancient mystery and the paradoxes surrounding why its true function has been forgotten, ignored, or dismissed. Because the pineal gland is not simply a biological organ, it is a threshold, a meeting point between the physical and the metaphysical. Ancient cultures understood this well, which is why their symbols, rituals, and initiatory systems revolved around awakening the eye within. But what has been lost over time is the explanation of how and why this inner eye functions, and that is where the deeper layers begin. 1. The pineal gland as a dimensional regulator. In metaphysical traditions, the pineal gland is described as a transducer of subtle realities, meaning it bridges two modes of perception: linear perception, rooted in the physical senses; nonlinear perception, rooted in intuition, insight, and expanded awareness. Think of the pineal gland as an ancient tuning device, an inner instrument designed to sense realities not accessible to the five senses. The ancients believed that the pineal gland could shift states of consciousness, allowing the seeker to enter visionary states, deeper intuition, symbolic perception, spiritual insight, out-of-body experiences, mystical awareness. This is why it was revered as a sacred organ, the gateway between worlds. 2. The paradox of light and darkness. In almost every ancient text, the pineal gland is described through metaphors of light: the lamp of the body, the inner sun, the divine spark, the radiant seed. Yet curiously, the pineal gland lies hidden deep inside the brain, surrounded by darkness. This creates one of the most profound initiatory paradoxes. The source of inner illumination is hidden in the deepest darkness. Initiates interpreted this to mean that true spiritual insight does not come from the external world, but from confronting and transcending inner shadow. When the seeker descends into their internal darkness, fears, illusions, conditioning, they emerge with vision. This is why the pineal gland became a symbol of inner resurrection, the rebirth into light. 3. The secrecy and the silence. Why was this knowledge concealed? Why did its deeper meaning disappear from mainstream understanding? Here lies another paradox. The pineal gland's power diminishes when it is spoken of casually, yet expands when approached with reverence. Ancient teachers understood something modern science often overlooks: that knowledge changes consciousness, and consciousness changes biology. To protect the unprepared mind from misunderstanding, initiates veiled the pineal teachings in symbols, myths, rituals, metaphors, subtle instructions, multi-layered teachings. The more advanced the seeker, the more the symbols revealed. This secrecy was not oppression, it was protection, like giving a child fire, powerful, transformative, but dangerous without guidance. 4. The pineal gland, as the organ of meaning. Science studies function. Mysticism studies purpose. Initiation studies meaning. The pineal gland sits precisely at the intersection of these three. Modern biology recognizes its role in circadian rhythms, hormone regulation, light sensitivity, but ancient knowledge describes another role. The pineal gland gives perception the ability to transform into meaning. This is why initiates used the pineal gland to decode symbols, dreams, and synchronicities. It is the organ that allows you to perceive not just what is happening, but why it is happening. It transforms coincidence into synchronicity, emotion into intuition, struggle into initiation, life into a guided journey. Without an active pineal gland, life feels random. With an awakened pineal gland, life feels purposeful. 5. The awakening and the return. Every pineal awakening follows a threefold rhythm. Disruption. The seeker feels a call, a shift, an inner rupture. Revelation, insight, clarity, or symbolic perception arises. Integration. Awareness stabilizes into a new identity. This cycle mirrors the ancient initiatory death and rebirth. Not a literal death, but the dissolving of old perception. Because the pineal gland is not only a portal, it is the engine of your spiritual evolution. Activating it is not about techniques alone. It is about remembering who you truly are. If the pineal gland is truly a forgotten portal within you, a bridge between the physical and the spiritual, then the question becomes, how do you activate it? Not through fantasy, not through extreme practices, but through deliberate, grounded, transformational steps rooted in ancient wisdom and supported by modern understanding. Let us explore the practices that align the body, mind, and subtle energies, creating the inner conditions through which the pineal gland can awaken to its higher function. 1. The art of inner stillness. All ancient traditions agree on one point: the pineal gland awakens in stillness. This doesn't require long meditation sessions. Begin with 3 minutes of silence each morning. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, bring your awareness to the center of your forehead, not forcing, just observing. Notice how, in that silence, thoughts become like passing clouds. The silent space between them, the gap, is where pineal activation begins. This simple ritual trains the brain to shift from constant mental noise to receptivity. 2. Conscious breathing to energize the inner portal. Breath is the key that ancient yogis, Egyptian priests, and Taoist alchemists used to stimulate the pineal gland. Try this technique. Inhale slowly for 4 seconds. Hold your breath for 4 seconds. Exhale for 6 seconds. Repeat for at least 10 cycles. This breathing rhythm increases oxygenation, calms the nervous system, and creates the inner stillness the pineal gland responds to. As you hold the breath, bring your attention to the center of your brain. Visualize a tiny sphere of light glowing there. 3. Light and darkness rituals. The pineal gland is extremely sensitive to light. In ancient temples, initiates trained the pineal gland through controlled alternations of light and darkness. Spend a few minutes each morning in natural sunlight, eyes closed. Spend several minutes each night in complete darkness. Darkness allows melatonin and other regulatory hormones to harmonize, while sunlight recalibrates your circadian rhythm, giving the pineal gland its natural energetic pulse back. This practice may seem simple, but it is one of the most powerful. 4. Symbolic visualization. Ancient adepts used symbols to activate dormant spiritual centers. Choose one symbol associated with the inner eye: a lotus, a triangle, an eye, or a sphere of light. During meditation, visualize the symbol gently floating at the center of your forehead. Do not strain. Let it appear naturally. Symbolic imagery is a language the pineal gland understands. Over time, this awakens deep intuitive perception and inner clarity. 5. Detoxifying the inner temple. You don't need extreme detoxes, but the pineal gland does thrive when the body's internal environment is clean. Focus on hydrating regularly, reducing overly processed foods, increasing natural antioxidants, fruits, herbs, dark leafy vegetables, spending time in fresh open-air environments. These actions improve the inner conditions necessary for the pineal gland to fulfill its higher functions. 6. Noticing the signs of awakening. An awakening pineal gland doesn't announce itself dramatically. Instead, it whispers. Signs may include sharper intuition, more vivid dreams, stronger inner guidance, heightened pattern recognition, a sense of internal alignment, deep states of peace appearing spontaneously. Pay attention. These subtle shifts are evidence of inner expansion. 7. Ritual of inner alignment. Take 1 minute, just one, every night before sleep. Place your hand lightly between your eyebrows, breathe deeply once, and speak a simple intention inwardly. I open myself to the wisdom within. This anchors a powerful subconscious command. Initiation happens in small, consistent steps. These rituals do not open the pineal gland all at once. They reteach the body and mind how to return to their natural state of expanded awareness. As we arrive at the end of this journey into the forgotten portal within you, one truth becomes undeniable. The pineal gland is far more than a biological curiosity. It is a relic of ancient design, a luminous thread connecting the physical body to realms of perception that modern science has barely begun to imagine. For thousands of years, mystics, sages, and initiates understood what only now is resurfacing, that the human being is not merely flesh and bone, but a bridge between the seen and unseen. And at the center of that bridge lies the pineal gland. Throughout history, this small crystalline organ was revered as a gateway, an inner eye capable of perceiving energy, intuition, synchronicity, and the deeper architecture of reality. Civilizations encoded its symbolism in stone, preserved it in tablets, guarded it in mystery schools, and whispered its secrets through sacred lineages. Yet in the chaos of modern life, its purpose was forgotten, dismissed, or ignored entirely. But the truth never vanished. It waited within you. You now understand how the pineal gland operates as a spiritual compass, a transmitter of inner vision, a regulator of consciousness, and a forgotten doorway into the deeper dimensions of human experience. You have seen how ancient cultures honored it, how modern systems neglect it, and how you can reactivate it through presence, intention, and practice. But here is the real question. What will you do with this knowledge? Will you allow this revelation to fade into curiosity? Or will you treat it as a calling to explore your inner world with new eyes? Because the pineal gland does not awaken through belief. It awakens through experience, through silence, through intuition, through the courage to question the surface of reality and seek what lies beneath it. If this exploration stirred something within you, an ancient memory, a spark of recognition, share your thoughts in the comments. Add your voice to this growing community of seekers who are remembering the wisdom humanity lost. And if you're ready to dive deeper into hidden teachings, mystical truths, and the forgotten capabilities of human consciousness, make sure to stay with us. There are many more portals waiting to be opened. Until then, walk with awareness, walk with intention. And remember, the greatest mysteries were never outside you. They were always within.